Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Banished Zone, a show about flesh and blood with Bryn.
And I'm Chris, and we're here in the zone.
We're here in the zone. It has been a little bit. A lot of things have gone on in our life. A lot of things have gone on in flesh and blood.
Mm-hmm.
This show is not monthly.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be weekly. This was the one time, look, we got evicted from the castle we were staying in.
So we found this cool castle, and we thought, wow, we can use this as our studio space.
Mm-hmm.
And then we weren't allowed to do that anymore.
It's one way of putting
we're
it.
here in our own home where we live in Brooklyn, New York.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try and find us.
There's our friend Jarl. That's his name, right?
That's Jarl right there.
Yeah,
we replaced our old actual suit of armor with the Jarl.
Oh, I didn't even notice that's what you were doing. That's so
that's not
smart.
what I was doing. I just made it up right now.
That's smart. Yeah. No, that's a smart move.
So, Chris, it's been a while since we've talked about flesh and blood
Mm-hmm.
on camera.
That's true.
But we've been doing a lot of non-camera flesh and blood stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What should we talk about first? Dynasty came out.
Dynasty got completely spoiled and is now out.
Well, when you say completely spoiled, do you mean it came out?
Well, it was spoiled before it came out.
Right, but that's not what you mean?
Well, that was before I could open it. So from my perspective.
Okay.
Last time we talked about a few spoilers.
Right.
Now we
most
have more.
of our first episode was about who we are. You now know who we are.
Mm-hmm.
The show will be weekly as
mm-hmm.
fingers crossed, but probably.
Oh, we're going to do it.
We're going to do it.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, DM Chris at Blue Plunder Run on Twitter.
Please do.
And tell him that he is disappointing you.
Follow, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Tell us in a comment how disappointed you are. This kind of thing really sets me off and makes me angry.
Yeah.
It really gets my goat.
He gets TO'd
majorly,
big time.
Yeah.
if you tell him that that he's disappointing you.
I need more episodes of the show.
Right. So, go ahead and do that. Yeah, so Dynasty is out.
Mm-hmm.
Hooray. Everyone's excited.
It's pretty exciting. There's some cool cards.
Yeah, we did a opening
Mm-hmm.
at our local game store.
You got the mech?
Well, hang on. It's called Action City Comics.
Sorry.
Owned by our friend Eric.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great store. If you live in Brooklyn, please come and hang out. Well, actually, don't come. The armories are too popping.
It's
right
getting
now.
kind of crowded. Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's a great store. If you are in Brooklyn,
yeah,
come on. We'll teach you how to play or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we went there and we opened a case together.
Mm-hmm.
And what were our big pulls? We got the cold foil mech.
Mm-hmm. Not the Marvel.
You should have grabbed them.
They teased us. You can't really see it on the screen.
Yeah,
anyway. It's okay. People can imagine.
You've seen it.
You know what it looks like. But yeah, the mech, not cold foil, and then
no, cold foil.
But sorry, not Marvel. Cold foil, but not Marvel.
And then
they tease you now. There's different levels.
You're like, oh wow, it's cold foil. No,
Mm.
it's not a Marvel though.
It's not marvelous at all. It's quite normal.
Well, I think it's pretty marvelous, but it's not cold foil.
Yeah. What is
and then we got a cold foil Spirit of Arena.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you say it? Arena?
I have no idea. It kind of looks like Irina. Yeah. And then
the regular rainbow foil Spirit of Irina.
So
and
maybe we'll play Bolton now.
So 2 L's.
Mm-hmm.
A cold foil dash mech.
Mm-hmm.
A couple cold foil rares, Spellfray. Yeah. Some nice stuff. I think it was okay. I really wanted a black tech.
Yeah, everyone needed the black tech because we had Assassin.
I didn't even get a mask.
Yeah, the
Mask
Majestic.
of Perdition.
We didn't even get Adult Arachne, I don't think.
I didn't even get Adult Arachne.
We couldn't even play Arachne in CC if we wanted to.
Such a sadness.
Yeah.
But it's fine. We'll be opening more of that.
Yeah, we'll trade for it.
soon.
We'll be able to.
I was trying to get my friend Lexi to give me her black text for the cold foil Bolton L. She had to sleep on it. She probably won't do that, but she is a big Warrior fan. So
she plays Dory a lot, right?
And I am not joking. Her name is Lexi.
Yeah, she used to play Lexi too.
She plays Dory a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she was tempted, but it's a couple little trades. I think people have learned, or at least I've learned. It's been weird for me as you know, this is my first card game.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been weird for me to be like, it's trading. You're trading. People want to trade you, but you should not do that. Like
just
not,
do trades.
Like on the first day when everybody like has what they want and they like are all excited. You make wild trades that aren't necessarily beneficial to you and you don't know the pricing. Like when we did the Uprising opening, the thing I traded was I traded 3 Marvel Dragons for a Shuko.
Was it Shuko or Flamescale? It was one of the L's, right?
Or it might have been Flamescale. It was one of the L's that are normal price, like $80 now, which would have been a great deal if they were all rare dragons.
Right, that is
2
true.
of them were rare dragons, which I don't care, rare Marvel dragons, but one of them was Tumultai.
Tumultai's worth a lot.
So it should have, it would have been a bad trade if it was just a straight trade for Tumultai for Shuko or Flamescale.
Even Crown of Providence for a Tumultai is like not worth the squeeze. And Crown of Providence is worth a lot. I think Tumultai is worth like $200. The Marvel.
Well, whatever.
It's hard to hit. Yeah.
So you want to make educated, but it's fun to wheel and deal.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
That is kind of a weird thing about like being. I mean, it's just the march of time. But I remember being a kid and playing Magic or Pokemon cards and whatever, and it's like you could theoretically look up how much something costs. Like I remember stores had magazines or like catalogs where you could look and be like, what's every Magic card selling for? But it was very much like not up to the minute, So a lot of times you were trading and it was just like, oh, you have this card I want. I have a card you want. They're both rares. Back then they didn't have a ton of different levels of rarity or like stuff that was really, really hard to hit.
Right, and Pokemon is extra hard because you're so blinded by the guy you like.
Yeah.
Like
if you just want Squirtle.
I want Ponyta.
Yeah.
So bad.
I just need that alt-art Rapidash.
I gotta have that Ponyta.
Yeah.
And then you're like, give me your big Charizard or whatever. And you're like, fuck Charizard. He's not cute. And then, you get robbed because you're a little girl.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just one of those things that like the technology that builds up around card games and collectibles and stuff, it's really cool because it means you can buy any card you want. You can get a fair price for a card you want to sell. You can figure out a good trade. But it also takes away some of that like magic of just like having the cards and just like wanting someone else's card. And you don't even really know how much they're worth. You just know you want the card.
Yeah. And you don't care. It's more important to you.
Yeah.
And I still feel that way because I don't care about shiny stuff.
Right.
I don't care about Marvels.
You care a little. Some people care a ton. They're like, I need one of everything in shiny. My deck has to be all foil.
I think they look better. Like I don't care though. Like I pulled a Bolton cold foil. I will trade it away for something I actually want and will play with.
Absolutely.
I don't care. I would trade a cold foil mech for a rare rainbow foil mech and something good, just because I know it's valuable to other people.
Absolutely.
Because I don't care. I would trade the cold foil mech for 3 rare rainbow foil mechs.
Beautiful trade. Then you can play the mech.
You
did buy the cold foil Kano though, the young Kano. So like certain times it's cool to have the cold foil of something. But that's probably because you like playing Kano so much. Well, because I know what you mean, where it's like if I wanted something cold foil, I would want it to be like it'd be cool to have a hero cold foil. Like I really like that I have the cold foil Emberblade for my Fi deck. Because I like playing Fi. It's a great fun deck to play. And it's a cold foil that I earned.
You're right. The things
there's
that
like a connection between
the heroes, the weapons, and the armor, if it can be cold foil, I do prefer it. But it's okay. If I need to trade it away to get something better, I will.
Yeah. For sure.
It's just much less important to me.
We both care about playing the game
in terms of collecting,
and then it can look cool afterwards.
No, but this is the thing. I like collecting. I just have no intention of getting one of every single treatment. I just want the card. Like I have a Skullbone Cost Strap. I've never played Azalea in my life, but I just want to have it.
Yeah.
In case.
We got our
I try to have every legendary, but I don't care if it's whiteboard or I don't care anything. I just like to have it to play.
For sure.
And there is a level of like collecting, like completionists. But I'm not trying to collect every single card in the game or whatever, like Kel or anything.
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, it is weird to me that when people, like I saw someone I think it was on Discord say like, I'm thinking of getting into the game. I never really played, but I've been collecting since Crew. And I can't imagine. Like,
I've heard people say that. They're I have all the cards. I've never played the game. Like, what are you talking about?
It's like, if you want to do that, that's fine. It's just hard to imagine, like, I don't know. It'd be like opening up a like chess set and being like, hey, the pawns look cool arranged like this. Well, anyway, and then walking away. It's like, you're really close to the thing that
Yeah.
is supposed to do.
My favorite Etch-a-Sketch type toy, my Go board, where I draw black and white pictures.
Oh, yeah, just scatter the pieces across the board. Yeah, I mean, but that's part of the power of TCGs.
Right, of
is
course.
that people who don't even
and
play
no
it.
shade to people who collect or anything. If you're rich and you like to do that,
sure,
have fun.
I want to open packs.
I support you.
Yeah.
But we're way off topic here. How do you feel about Dynasty, Chris?
Overall, I think I like it a lot.
Like it a lot.
I think it's a very solid set. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Last episode we talked about a lot of the Marvel weapons, right? Like the Hanabi blaster and the axe and stuff. I'd say my initial impression was that some of those weapons, I thought there'd be more cards or heroes that like wanted to use those weapons. I think if there's one thing that disappoints me is that Crucible and Everfest both had like, they had like 5 heroes in each one or something. Doesn't Crew have 6 heroes?
I gotta say, I'm disappointed with the amount of heroes.
There's like many heroes, many of which are like.
It's cool that there's a whole new ass Arachne like adult hero. Like that
makes
is
up for
cool.
it, kinda.
But I would go a couple more.
It's
two more, one more, 2 more.
Because it's like
I really thought there'd be one.
You had Icelander in Everfest, which was cool and weird to put a hero out when she doesn't really have support and you can try her.
Sure.
She's only young. Crew has what? KO, Kasai, Benji, like
Cavdine.
yeah, all kinds of heroes that like are it just I was expecting Blitz to get shaken up a lot because there were a bunch of new heroes.
Right.
And it's like
well, there's 2 now.
Right. And Yoji technically, but Yoji in Blitz basically doesn't have hero text, so I don't really count him.
Which is like, why would you ever play him over Bravo?
What does he have? 22 life.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's a reason.
He's got the 2 extra life. I don't need crippling crush.
I don't need to dominate things.
Yeah, I need 2 life.
I need 2 life.
Yeah, I mean
Valda has 2 life.
Yeah,
or 1 life.
1. Yeah. You could probably win an armory if you got lucky with Yoji, but
well, the Guardian card pool is good, and
yeah,
you don't really need much of a card text. Like Bravo is just pay for dominate. Valda is just like size. It's like a pitch help if you draw a card.
Yeah. Maybe give some dominate by pitching stuff.
But his text, what you're saying, and I think you're right, is that his hero text is worse than Valda, and no one plays Valda.
Right, because his doesn't do anything. I remember when he first came out, people were making joke builds that was like Yoji OTK, where you kill yourself in 1 turn. Try to deal yourself 22 damage.
I think it's okay though, because I'm really excited for PvE, and I want to play PvE, and I would love to play a big fat guy who helps and tanks, and that's really cool to me, especially in PvE. It is not cool to me in PvP. I would never play a character. I mean, I didn't really play Guardian so
you never know. You might try it sometime and kind of like it.
I mean, it was one of the first things I tried.
Yeah.
So I think I agree. I really like Dynasty. There are a lot of questions about what cards will be good, which cards will be not good. And looking at the cards in my hands yesterday, it was yesterday.
Oh yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah.
We were recording Saturday night. I got a feel for some of the archetypes. Like I looked at the warrior wizard and I started just like making lines up in my head.
Sure, yeah.
And it's tough. There's not a ton of wizard cards that really work, but like there's some. And you could end on arcane, and I was just like looking at it. You could kind of make it like a red line Briar deck. And that sword, I feel like, is really above rate.
The Jubil one?
The Jubil.
Yeah.
Like, that's a 1 for 3 on the field all the time. Like,
right, so you can always pitch.
All the other 1 cost weapons are 1 or 2.
Dawnblade's for 3. 3 for 1.
Dawnblade is for 3. He can run that too.
He could run Dawnblade, yeah. It wouldn't do anything because you can't really attack with it twice unless you have a twinning blade. But yeah, I mean, the Emperor kind of feels like Shiana, where...
When Brian Gottlieb said it's not like Shiana, it's a real hero.
Okay.
I was like, hang on a second. because we watched Brian Gottlieb is a famous announcer and also a part-time designer for
does
for
design.
Flesh and Blood. If you're not deep in the lore like we are, he was on a show called Instant Speed, hosted by Matt DeMarco, aka Flake.
I hope that'd be funny if we're sending people Flake's way. Like I imagine everyone who listens to our show already knows.
I know.
Who Flake is. You're just
I don't know. I'm just saying. What if
yeah.
if they got here because they know you or me?
That's true.
Or they listen to my other 2 shows. Listen to Generation Loss.
That's true. That's true.
And those people. I know that there's a couple people who've watched this because of Generation Loss, and they don't fucking know who Flake is.
Fair enough. Well,
so I'm just saying.
Matt Flake DeMarco.
I have other shows.
True.
People know who I am a little bit. Maybe you're here because you listen to Stay Inside. I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
Listen to my band. Full of plugs today. Anyway,
yeah.
Brian Gottlieb was on Flake's show talking about worlds and a bunch of other stuff, and he said that the Emperor is not a quote-unquote meme. And stop saying that, by the way. Stop saying it. If it's not a meme, there's a couple people who are memes. Anthony Fantano is a meme.
Yeah.
Flake is really trying hard to turn himself into a meme.
Flake often says, make a meme out of me.
Right. That's a meme.
Right.
If you make a bunch of iterative jokes on it, then it's a meme.
Something being
something
stupid.
Being bad is not a meme. Don't do that. You're pissing me off.
Putting them on notice.
I'm putting you all on notice.
Also weird to just say like a deck is cringe. People do that. I don't really like that one.
Shut up.
When they're just
Stop saying cringe.
Fi is so cringe.
You're an adult.
I don't know what that means. Anyway.
Not the point.
Yeah.
Not the point. Say whatever you want. I don't care.
You can, whatever. Be cringe. I don't care. Just call things cringe.
Point is, Emperor's a real hero.
Yeah.
Brian Gottlieb himself said it, and
he can play really good cards.
He's got a huge card pool. Yes, it's only red line, but
it's the biggest, Jerry. But the biggest.
But think about it. So was Briar. Like I know that now you run channel. Everyone runs Channel Mount Heroic, and you got to run a couple blues for that reason. Yeah. But there was a time when people ran Briar just straight zeros.
Just to only I mean, zero cost cards are
ones and
some
zeros,
of the strongest things
reds.
in the game because it's just like
so
you play it. You don't have to pitch anything. You just keep playing.
Maybe he won't be the best guy, but he can have Stormstriders. He can have courage.
Now that they have that back,
he can have courage.
He can have a fridge. He can have a little bit of life protection and not just have 15 life.
Yeah. So it's there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of interesting deck building space, and I'm interested in it. And I didn't get one.
Oh yeah.
I don't have an Emperor.
James White.
I'd like to play what James White.
But he didn't hook you up with one.
It's weird that he didn't hook me up with one. I'll probably just buy one. I think I'm gonna not buy any more boxes for a while, unless you'd like me to open one on stream.
That's true.
And then you can buy it from me. But other than that, I think the 2 heroes that we did get that are actually playable, and I do think that the War Wiz, I think he'll shake things up a little bit.
I mean, like when I say Shiana, it's like I've played against Shiana. We have people like someone in our locals who likes to brew weird decks and brought.
We have a couple of those.
Yeah, we have a few of those, and he brought a Shiana that was like pummeling Pursuit of Knowledge and then playing Lesson in Lava, and like before they banned Stubby Hammerers, I remember Red Zone Rogue talking about this combo you could do where you played a Force of Nature because it's a Briar specialization, and then you crack Stubbies, and then you play a bunch of weak attacks that are buffed and draw cards, and like Shiana can do weird and powerful stuff because she can run specialization cards. So it's like I feel like the Emperor will be on that level where you won't know what to expect, and he'll do weird stuff.
I think it's going to be more consistent.
Okay, yeah.
I have a sense that you're going to be able to push 10 to 15 damage every turn. Like look straight up, like look at the cards. Like if you play a Ravenous Rabble into a Scar for a Scar, into a Jubilee, right there, that's 10 damage. Okay, you can do that. Obviously, you can't do that every turn because that's only 3 cards. Yeah. But then you have a bunch of wizard cards too. Right. And you have a couple wizard cards now that have Go Again on them.
Oh yeah.
So imagine you're doing like Ravenous Rabble, 3 arcane damage with Go Again, and then a scar for a scar, and it's like I don't know.
Yeah, people won't know what to expect, and they won't know quite how to defend against it.
When you're blocking 3 different attacks and pitching, that's real hand disruption, and I think there's something there. I don't know. We'll see.
People
but
they're gonna make weird stuff. Yeah.
I like Wizard. Also, remember Stormstriders.
It's legal again.
It's legal.
They listened to the people and they brought them back.
Also, you have Blazing. Oh no, you can't run that. It's Kano specialization.
Gianna can run that.
That's crazy. You can do like 2/3 of the Kano of the Kano combo.
Well, they banned Aether Wildfire now.
Right, but that's what I said. You could do 2/3 of it.
Oh, in Gianna? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
right.
you could...
Lesson in Lava and then Blazing Aether.
Right.
Yeah.
So you could feasibly... Is there any generic cards that do arcane damage?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the Lesson and the Blazing are basically the only ways.
So yeah.
Gianna can do it.
And you can't run any weapon, right?
Just Talishar.
Oh yeah, you have to have generic weapon.
You have to have a generic weapon, yeah.
What if you do... Oh yeah.
That is true. The Emperor can run better weapons than Gianna, which
For
raises
sure.
his floor a lot.
I think he's got so much... There's so much design space there.
Mm-hmm.
You can run the dagger and...
Oh yeah, the new daggers.
You can run the Quicksilver dagger and and a Centauri saber. You can run a Quicksilver dagger. It's wild. So I don't know. Whatever. I like the Emperor. I like all the new wizard cards. I feel like every class got some beefy stuff.
Yeah, either like stuff to use now. I think the thing that is interesting about Dynasty is that like you can sort of tell when you listen to James White talk about designing this game, and like you can see in all the the 10 years he spent making it up until now. Like he spent years and years just making a game that no one was seeing. That he's like planning ahead a lot and has a lot of ideas and ambition, and I feel like they legitimately have like a 10-year plan. Like there's a whiteboard at LSS. That's
I would be surprised if it's only 10 years.
Maybe it's 20. Yeah. Of like here's the classes that come out. Here's where we go. Here's what heroes might be coming. And like I'm sure for some of those,
like
it's
think about it this way.
Yeah.
You've got your 3 years in. You've done a Solana and Monastery set, an Aria set,
and now a Volcor set.
And
the first one is just like a general
a Volcor set,
right?
And that's it. And there's fucking 7 different lands, and we haven't even got there. And I'm pretty sure there's Erathriel or whatever,
right,
which is a whole nother realm. And also there's a ton of like little places, like Everfest is a whole set,
right?
And
Everfest
that's
is
just like a thing that's mentioned in the lore, and there's probably a bunch of those. We could do a whole set that's in the library,
right?
We could do a whole set that's like, we could do a metric set and a pit set, and that's 1 year,
right? Also, I'm sure at some point they're going to go back to locations because the story has to advance. So like, we might go everywhere and then we go back to Aria.
Because we did we did 2 Volcor sets for 1 year, you know, like
Uprising and then Dynasty.
And then specifically the Throne Room. Like I have a feeling like we're going to spend like 5 years just doing Wraith.
Yeah.
If probably 6-7 years. That's why I'm saying it's like
maybe, yeah.
And then it sounds like they already have like another realm to go to.
For sure. I'm sure there's all kinds of plans of like what will change, what will happen. Like heroes might die and get reborn as different versions or whatever. So when I look at stuff like the Merciless Battle Axe, and it's like, well, currently there's not really much of a reason to run this for existing heroes. That doesn't mean that they don't have a hero in the vault that's going to use the axes.
Probably being developed. I mean, Arachne was supposed to be in Arcane Rising.
Yeah, that's a great example. That like they had a hero that was going to come out years ago, and just kind of...
Fi might have been one of the first heroes he ever designed.
He talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Kind of. That like... I mean, in a certain way, I feel like Fi feels like more simple than Katsu. Because it was like, what's Ninja about? Chain links. And then maybe he realized that it made more sense to make it a talent-based thing, and that he should do combo for... I don't know how it happened exactly.
I have a feeling that the Draconic Ninja was made Draconic because he was so powerful. He needed a base of power creep.
Right. He needed to be like, some of these cards are just Draconic.
You can't have Welcome to Wraith draft where Fi is in it.
Yeah, it'd be a little busted.
It'd be a little fucked.
It's funny to imagine them testing that, and they're like, Rhinar doesn't do too good against this Fi.
Maybe we should make a different ninja.
Yeah. I think also something that's interesting about like when a lot of the cards were coming out for Dynasty, like during the spoiler season, some people's complaints were like, none of these cards are good, or like a lot of these cards aren't playable.
I don't give a shit what people. The complaints are such bullshit. People need to shut up.
The thing is, like, I feel like in this game, it's a very fine line between like not runnable or like kind of a head scratcher and power creep. Because like
in every game.
Yeah, but this one especially, it's like the numbers are so tightly tuned. Like a card that's not a D-react is never going to block for more than 3 unless there's some weird situation that arises. Like if that happens, it's because they made up a whole new class or a new hero that has really weird blocks or something. Mm-hmm. But it's like things block for 2 or they block for 3, and that's it. And like if something costs 0, it's not going to attack for more than 4 unless it has a huge downside. So it's kind of a hard. And also I remember Brian Gottlieb was saying this, that like they're a game with like less chaff than other games. You know, it's like there's not a lot of commons even that are sort of just like stupid cards you would never play.
That's what's good about it.
Yeah. So in a certain way, a lot of classes don't really need more cards. Like that's why it's cool that they're printing stuff.
You said something to me like somebody who was the person who said like how many 0 for 4 go agains can they make?
On Arsenal Pass, Brendan was like, how many 0 for 4 defense reacts can they print? And Hayden was like, maybe they don't have to print anymore because they printed a few.
Right.
And they're good already.
But I think what's interesting about this game is like every class can have a different one and they can all do different stuff.
Yeah.
Like you can have that's 13 and we only have 1.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or we have like a couple, but like we don't have
like Ranger and Runeblade.
Like there is no 0 for 4 wizard. Hang on. Let me make sure I'm not saying something that's incorrect.
Oh yeah,
but like
what does Absorbent?
There's not that many different defense reactions at all.
Yeah.
Let alone like one for every class that's actually runnable.
There's a few for Guardian because that's like a specifically defensive class. Warrior has Steelblade Shunt, and you know I guess all the classes in Wraith got them, but that was also like an early time of the game and they're like establishing kind of a baseline for stuff. It's like in a certain way you have Sink Below. Sink Below is already the perfect 0 for 4 defense reaction. It has a really strong effect. Mm-hmm. So what could you possibly print that was you'd want to run over Sink Below? I mean, people run Fate Foreseen as well because it's pretty strong as well, and it just does kind of the same thing.
There's 2 wizard defense reactions in the game. One of them Kano can't run.
Right, because it's the Icelander one.
It's Sigil of Permafrost, and it's 1 for 4.
Right.
And then Absorbent Ether is 1 for 4. And it buffs your arcane damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Runeblade has Sigil of Suffering, where it's a 0 for 3, but it also deals them an arcane, and if they've taken arcane, it gets +1. Mm-hmm. So it's like kind of a 0 for 4, but not quite.
It's not quite.
And then Ranger has one that's a 0 for 4.
And I get, reloads. You know, it's so finicky, right? This is what we're saying, that it's very finicky, and that's why I think they are consistently iterating on how much things are worth, you know?
Yeah.
Like, is it worth it to do this? But I think that's good. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's okay to keep printing slightly different variables.
Yeah.
And you don't want to see a card. If you, a random player, see a card that's spoiled and you actually are saying, oh, wow, that looks great and I can't wait to play it, then it's too good.
Like some of those cards might be Pulse Wave Harpoon. That card's fucking insane.
I know.
It's cool. But yeah, that's like, and I think that's what Majestics should be.
But that card isn't like, you know, like, yes, we're, you know, looking at it and being like, ooh, pretty good. But like, I feel like even those cards, like, aren't like causing shockwaves through the, I mean, we just watched a Battle Hardened today. 4 dashes in the top 8, right?
I think it was 3, but the finals was a dash mirror. Yeah.
Dash got a lot of stuff. Mechanologist got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's clearly like we're going to the pits or metrics next, and like that's gonna be a big deal or whatever. But I don't know, you know, like I think I like that they're tampering expectations about what to expect in terms of like I've never heard anybody at LSS say the phrase power creep, but I'm guessing it's always on their mind.
Right. And, you know, they, in past sets, you could argue the past 3.
Because like
they had issues with it.
What's the point of just like, you don't want this game to turn into Yu-Gi-Oh where you have 8,000 life all of a sudden. Like that's just numbers that don't make any sense. That's not how the game works. You don't want something that does a gazillion damage on one card or whatever.
Yeah.
Or that like, you know, causes a combo that everyone hates. That's the thing. Anytime there even is a combo, everyone gets mad at me.
Yeah, with Wizard.
Because I like I just
and
like
Viserai,
combos generally.
Viserai had a combo.
Viserai was a combo. Kano was a combo deck. So it just seems like I think what I love about this game is that a bunch of cards come out and everyone goes, none of these cards are even playable. And then somebody figures out something insane that's really cool and really flavorful because that's how they design the cards. And then everyone was like, oh, this meta is great or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, it must feel pretty annoying. Like I don't make the game. I didn't design the game, and I get annoyed seeing Twitter just full of like weird complaining where it's just like, why don't they give these cards, or why don't they
meme card? Why is it all meme?
Yeah, why are all these Bolton? But you don't know. Maybe he's gonna be fucking dominant now. I don't know how it works.
Bolton's
you didn't
good.
play it. You didn't play it.
Yeah, Josh Lau played Bolton at Worlds and he got 32nd place.
Yeah,
he was in the money. He made $2,000 playing Bolton and Dorinthia at Worlds.
So he has a card that tutors his best card. Isn't that what it does?
It doesn't tutor. It lets you play it as an instant.
Oh, okay.
And also when you charge it, it enters the arena. So it's like by charging it, you just can play it.
Oh, right. Which is what everyone wants him to have.
Yeah, a way to charge
that does good things.
Yeah, charge, and that isn't just like a pure downside of a card. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and if you compare it to Everfest, Everfest had a lot of cards that people were like, why did they give Oldhim
I don't remember.
and Starvo?
Let's be fair here. Everfest was our first set, and we did not know the game as well as we do now. It was the first set that came out when we knew about the game, but I don't remember anybody looking at Revel and Runeblood and being like, this card's broken.
People probably were like, what the fuck? Why is Runeblade getting so much good stuff?
I know they were saying that, but like 4 Runechants that has a really hard requirement.
Yeah.
Well, people maybe at the time were saying non-attack and attack, and then you have to play this, and then you have to have another attack or sword. Like, no one was playing Viserai.
Right, yeah. Well, because at the time people were playing Chain.
I'm pretty sure at the time people looked at it and was like, this doesn't make any sense in Chain.
Right, because at the time that was the dominant...
yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what I remember hearing is like, what is this? Who cares?
And then people...
4 damage for 0. This is a 0 for 4 Gogan. Whoopty shit.
I mean, remember Starvo came out and people were like, will this be good? Hayden was like, on Arsenal Pass, was like, well, it's going to be, you have to run all these bad cards in your deck.
That's true.
And it turns out, you can have a lot of bad cards in your deck. And
it's really good.
It's still fine. I mean, that's the thing about Guardian that's so weird is that half your deck can just be blues that you never want to play. They're just there to be cards, and then you do one thing a turn. So your whole deck doesn't have to be good cards.
Right.
It's weird.
So I think Destiny is really cool. I think there's a lot of shit I don't understand. That's my point. Is that there's stuff that, looking at the cards, I was like, I don't know how anyone would play this at all.
Like the
book
Viz or whatever.
That's what's exciting.
Yeah.
Is that there's, and I don't know why everyone's saying Viz. I guess just because it's Sutcliffe.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, why not book Chain? Why not book Briar? Like, we have 3 Rune Blades. Why?
Sure, yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe, I mean, Viz likes to make Runechants, so that makes sense. Viserai, by the way. But my point is that there's lots of weird new archetypes, new ways of playing, new ways of building, and I think that's really cool, and I can't wait till people who are as smart as Michael Hamilton or any of the weird brewers make something really crazy. I just literally yesterday I saw somebody post 4 pictures of Brainstorm, Rift, Hope Merchant's Hood,
Potion of Luck,
and
right?
Potion of Luck.
Yeah. Deal like 13 damage by drawing a bunch of cards.
That's 13 damage in a wizard combo.
Yeah.
Pings. Like 1 ping.
Little Runechants, yeah.
That's kinda weird. That seems cool. I don't know. Maybe that's a good combo. Sorry, Steven, if you're watching this. I'm sorry that I told people about it. But
wasn't it on Twitter? It was in public.
Yeah, he was telling people to stop posting it.
Oh, okay.
But it might be really cool and fun. And those are the things. It's like it takes a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
or it might take years.
More than any other game I've seen. It seems like Flesh and Blood takes a long time for people to figure out the sets.
Yeah.
How deep were we into Uprising before someone put Wounding Bull in Icelander?
Yeah, it took a while.
Like months.
Yeah. I mean, people were doing, like, before Uprising came out, this is what's sort of funny, is that it was like, at the time, people were like, well, you can build Icelander to mostly just do arcane damage, or you can mix in attacks, because she wasn't disincentivized from using attacks, so they'd run, like, Exude Confidence was a popular one, because you could pay a lot of blues into it.
Yeah.
So I feel like Uprising came out, and everyone was like, oh, look at all these amazing attack
Ice Wizard cards.
Just play them all out of Arsenal, you'll win the game that way, it'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as people were working on the deck, they were like, well, if everyone brings Arcane Barrier, you're not really dealing very much damage at all because you're playing blues and wizard cards are below the rate of other cards, and then you just lose the game because they keep punching you while stopping your damage. And so Michael Hamilton was like, wait a minute. The thing that is really cool about it too is that he's talked about this, that he got the idea from drafting Icelander, that he was like, Fandal's Fighting Spirit and Scar for a Scar, it's pretty good in Icelander.
It's pretty good.
What if I put that in my constructed deck? Which is also kind of how Tarek Patel made up the Lightning Briar deck initially.
Really?
Did you not know that? Oh yeah, it was that he just like had a really gas Briar deck that had like red Lightning Surge and like red Bramble Spark and like a bunch of just like all the good like zero cost stuff in Tails, and was like, wait, what if this is a deck? What if the whole deck is just zero cost? And people weren't building it like that before, I don't think.
Mm. What were they putting in there?
I don't
Channel
know.
Mount Heroic and stuff?
Maybe. I'm not sure exactly. But yeah, and it's also like some of this stuff might not even bear fruit now. And this is it's not a game where sets rotate, So maybe next
Another
year.
Thing that people forget and seem to not care about is that like they always set stuff up. There's still merchants in the game and none of them have any cards.
Right. They printed one merchant card.
One.
Silver Palms.
And if we're going to the pits or metrics, like what do you think we're gonna get? Ooh. We're gonna get some merchant shit.
I didn't think about that there could be like a merchant. Like, I mean, Cavdian's from the pits, right? Because he's a skin trader. Yeah.
He's from the pits.
A man's from the pits.
So if we go there, and like all of the people from the pits are full of trading stuff. They it's
all about dealing. Yeah.
No, wait. It's Azalea.
Yeah.
I always get them confused
Assassin
because they're like brunette bitches who are all bad. Have the DreamWorks face.
They scowl and they're bad. And they're badass.
They're bad too.
Yeah.
And then Arachne and Cavdine. So if we go there, maybe we'll get. It's an interesting. I like to look forward. I like to see what these cards are telling us about what will happen in the future. Even if they're not all incredible now, you can look at them and say, this doesn't make any sense right now, but that's cool. I think that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's because I feel like that was some of my initial reaction to the cards and the legendaries was like, some of these are weird. I'm not sure what is the deal with this stuff. But it's cool to have cards that are setting up for the future and like might become good later. And also people are just like, I don't know, like remember when Alluvion was spoiled and people were like, what's the point of this card?
Oh yeah.
And it's
everyone's mad
incredible
about it.
In the mirror.
And it's still cheap.
Right, it's really cheap.
And it's like
Coronet Peak too.
Icelander is the most dominant hero and everybody needs it in the deck. Why is it cheap? Maybe they just printed a lot of it or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it is odd. Like people just make up their minds about something when they have this conception of it, and it's strange.
Yeah.
Especially when they're proven wrong, very clearly.
Yeah.
But speaking of, and I think it's because I think of it being in it for the long haul. Like
the game.
I'm trying to play the game. It's my favorite game. I like it. I don't want to stop playing it. I want them to see I want them to do the Babe Ruth, like pointing in the outfield and be like, it's going right there. And I don't, I'll wait for the pitch. And speaking of that, another thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Was there's a Polygon article that came out.
Oh yeah.
Yesterday.
Days ago, right? Yeah.
No,
it was
just
yesterday. When Dynasty released. Yeah.
And it wasn't like an article about tabletop game in general. It wasn't about New Zealand gaming in general. It was about Flesh and Blood. And it was about how this is a game. It was really a marketing piece. Like it
basically.
it was a fucking puff piece on Flesh and Blood and LSS in general. Which is really cool. I mean, you know,
there was that, and then
I don't know if you've ever tell. I'm a little bit of we're simps for this game. Like there's very little criticism that I have for the company. Actually, we'll get to one.
Okay.
But
there's a Polygon article, and then like weeks before that is when the professor put out like a really glowing video, and he was like, Flesh and Blood has 2 years left.
It is now called I Believe in Flesh and Blood.
I know. I believe in Flesh and Blood.
He
took away the clickbait.
It has 2 years left until it's 5 years old.
Yeah.
Is what his whole deal was.
Someone on Discord being like, this is disgusting clickbait. That was really cracking us up.
So damn disgusting.
By this professor baiting my click. I'll never watch that video. It really cracks me up when people say shit like that. And they're like, just because of this one thing, I'm never watching this video. I don't care what he says.
Shut up. Yes, you are.
No one cares. Yeah, it's funny.
But yeah, the Polygon is a big outlet, right?
Yeah.
Like Polygon is a large, widely read outlet about games, and I didn't even really remember that they like write about tabletop games all that much. But I saw this just in my feed, like on my regular Twitter account.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, I guess I subscribed to Polygon.
Yeah.
And
hoping for Brian David Gilbert to come back.
Yeah, well, he's not coming back.
He's never coming back.
Yeah, and you know, it's a really lovely written, really nice thing. But I think there's one of the things it mentions in the article is that he won or not he specifically, but Legend Story Studios won an award called the Deloitte.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Deloitte Fast 50. And basically they give it out to the company each year that has had the most revenue growth in the past 3 years. And I don't know, this wasn't like super reported on. I feel like
it was just they tweeted about it basically.
And when I say reported on, I mean the 20 podcasts I listened to about this game.
Yeah, that's true.
Only one or two of them mentioned it.
Yeah. But Fluke mentioned it in the interview, right, when he talked to James. Yeah.
I think there's a couple that mentioned it, and they, they said, "Oh, cool." But I don't think people are really like. I was happy to. This felt really important to me because one thing we often as fans don't know. I've talked to you about this a bunch. There's a couple. There's been card games that did pretty well.
Right.
Probably not as well as this feels, but that we're doing in-person tournaments. There's one that was famously. There was a famous one way before I got into card games, but I've been researching this a little bit. It's called The Spoils.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody watching remembers this game called The Spoils, but they were around for like 3 years, and they had like tournaments that were like large, like Flesh and Blood size, like 10Ks, and people seemed to enjoy the game. I wasn't there. Maybe it sucked. I don't know. But one of their funders pulled out, their main funder, and then the game just immediately crashed.
Yeah.
Like everyone was just like left dangling. That's it. It's over.
Yeah.
And while Rudy and the professor have signed on and said like, no, this game is good and we believe in it and stuff, a little thing in the back of my head is like, I know how capitalism works. Like it doesn't matter how good the game is. The fact that this is an independent company who, by all accounts, treats its workers very well, is leading the industry on like eco-friendly manufacturing.
Also, it has like 16 employees right now, like 20 or something.
It's a tiny company that is working in international shipping waters. Like it's a huge industry, and it's now making trouble. Maybe, I mean, no one wants to talk about this, or no one wants to say it like this, but like Hasbro probably isn't happy about Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they're looking at it like, well, hey, rising tide lifts all boats, guys. Great for Flesh and Blood.
Right.
Flesh and Blood people say that, and they're like, hey, no shade to Magic. We all, we're all
Right.
happy and stuff. But Hasbro is a cold, unfeeling corporate company.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're probably like, they are eating into our fucking bottom line.
Right.
And
not even like making us not make a profit, because they're at a point as a company where it's like not even that they just want to be profitable, but they want next year to be more profitable.
Right.
They want the year after that to be more profitable. So it's like, even if the tide is rising, if the other boat is taking the tide as well, maybe you want that tide
yeah,
too.
I'm gonna need that tide too,
want
or
that
else
one.
how we might be only stagnant.
Gonna have to put out 50 secret letters
Right.
this year.
So you've got, if you are this exceptionally in a good place and you have a good game, and the narrative of this game to a lot of players is that former Magic the Gathering players are moving away because of their in-person tournament support. Like, you now have a target on your back.
Yeah. You have a big competitor.
Yeah. So I
mean, a tiny competitor.
So in the back of my mind, I've always been worried, like, how much is this game actually making?
Right.
Like, yes, obviously it's doing well on the secondary market.
They're all the way down in New Zealand, so it's like, how much are they having to like internationally ship and collaborate and whatever?
So to me, seeing the Delotte Fast 50 was like, holy shit.
Well, also, wasn't the growth like 6,000% or something?
The growth was 6,416% over the last 3 years.
Yeah, and also when you look at the...
Not only that, according to the Delotte Fast 50, it was the highest win ever.
Right.
In the history of the prize, which has been like decades.
Yeah, it's like a New Zealand, like the companies.
Yeah.
And also when you look at the other companies that are on that list, it's not like video game companies and card game companies.
It's like steel.
Yeah.
It's like textile manufacturers.
Or it's like an app. I think one of them was like some kind of like hotel booking. It's like fintech, like this is like, you make an app that it's a hit, you can make like tens of millions of dollars.
Right.
So they have more growth than that.
And this is the thing about TCGs, is that if you hit it, if you hit it the way Legend Story has hit it, you are literally printing money. Like, these cards don't cost that much.
Yeah.
Like, you're selling a pack of 15 pieces of paper
with printing
with
on
paper
them.
over them and ink. And don't get me wrong, I know that there's some level of money and also you have to pay artists, you have to pay designers. Like, I'm not saying there's no overhead,
right?
But like, you've got that wrapped up now. The actual
you pay the artist
manufacturing
once.
process is some of the cheapest shit you can make. Like, these cards, by cost to them, are cents, and you're charging $5. So it's huge. So it's like, I just think that this was a really big, important thing, and I felt vindicated that James White agrees with me, because he says in the article, he says, I don't really care that much about accolades in general. He continued, the former Magic player, blah, blah, blah. This one really means a lot, because for me, this was validation. It was about sending a really strong message to the business community and to the government of New Zealand. You guys need to respect gaming and gaming culture as a very critical industry that deserves respect, that deserves recognition, and that deserves support. And that's crazy. Like,
yeah, it's
I
love how like deathly serious he takes this. It's like making up remember in that Fluke interview when Fluke was like, what's the lowest point of making the game? And he was like,
I know.
Well, probably when we had to sell our home and couldn't rent a new one. So I was sleeping on the floor of the office while my wife and like newborn baby moved back to China for 3 years.
Yeah.
And he just like rolled
I think
a
it was
little
1 year.
For 1 year, yeah, or something. And he was
the
like,
baby was 3.
Every morning I rolled back up my sleeping mat before all the employees got there, and he was like, those were lonely years. I got a lot done. He was like, don't get me wrong, I made a lot. It's like, which cards was James just like toiling over alone at an office desk before he like
put his blood, sweat, and tears into this, and it shows.
Yeah. It was also something.
So it's hard not to root for the game. I feel like it's hard. Look, I'm a Yankees fan. I know how it's fun to be the winner or whatever, but America loves an underdog too, and this has been. It's crazy to watch them succeed. What were you gonna say?
Oh, just we were watching that. I think it was an instant speed, or maybe it was an Arsenal pass. I forget. One of the podcasts Brian Gottlieb was on when he was being asked about Arachne and like the development, how he started working with LSS, because he did some design work on Arachne. And he was like, the only person who does design full time
is James.
And I was like, what? And you were just
how
like,
is that possible?
Yeah, he's just making up like every hero. And design meaning like the idea of here's what a new class could be like. Maybe the cards would do X, Y, Z.
Right.
Maybe
not
have this hero
not the
power.
finicky mechanical R&D work.
Yeah. Sitting down and fine tuning, changing a 3 to a 2. And
there's
then
a couple
like,
people who do that.
Yeah, man. It's like, it sounds fun, but it also sounds like a real headache to imagine. Like, it's sort of like the way people are like, it must be fun to work for a video game company because you play video games all day, but then all you do is like try to make a door break for 10 hours. Like, can you just imagine like playing 5 versus Icelander and Dromai, and then you're like, okay, someone comes in, they're like, I'm going to change this number.
Look, I get tired.
Make this 3 a 2, and then you have to redo all those games
Yeah.
and try the same and try to keep it scientific and like take notes and then be like, what do you think? Is that too good? And you're like, I don't know. It's annoying. I think it's fine.
Yeah. Well, it's not even about how it, I mean, because it is how it feels. They prioritize how it feels, but it's also like, am I winning every time?
Right. Does this make this hero too good?
Let's switch and let's see if I win every time. You know, like I don't even know what their pattern or whatever like must be.
Like, yeah, I mean, it makes you understand how a set comes out and a hero can be too good, because there's a thin line between just strong and then too good, and they'll never actually test it every version of a deck and putting in weird cards. Like, I doubt anyone tried Wounded Bull when they were making Icelander.
I mean, it's shocking that the only mistake they've made was Tails, Navaria, and Bravo and Starvo.
I think some people would argue Monarch has certain flaws, but
I'm sure.
But
I'm just saying it's the only big ones that like were eroded and admitted.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, Monarch is just weird, but also cool. It's like, I feel like in a certain way,
Monarch.
I think a lot of people like fell in love with the game in Monarch.
Of course,
tons of people. Tons of people were Prism mains, and were basically, Prism was a character that Magic players could glom onto because you have the permanence and you have the the army of stuff, and when Prism left, they're like, what do I do with myself? And Chain is a really cool hero. So it's like,
that's one. That's okay. Criticism towards the end of the show.
Go off.
A criticism of the they said that they would release a replacement hero.
Oh yeah.
And I believe that if you're going to release a replacement hero, there is zero reason to wait until a set.
Yeah,
like I think it's much smarter to sell a $5 to $10 pack, like a of cards,
like a secret
that
lair
have
kind of
some.
thing.
You don't even need to make more cards, because the idea is that it's another light illusionist. So print a weapon and the hero, and maybe like a specialization or a foil. Sell it for $5. And then just send the stores packs of that, and like a secret lair, basically like the same sort of idea as a secret lair. And then just like as soon as it goes living legend, or like if you want people to wait for a year, fine. But like if I don't see the reason, like put that out with the next set, like put it out with Dynasty. I don't understand why that isn't like a supplemental thing. Also, we're having a release.
Yeah,
I guess.
Do you think they have one in the tank? Like, do you think they have a hero ready for everyone?
Of course, we just talked about how they have plans for 10 years.
Yeah, probably.
Like, they knew this was going to happen. They didn't think they were going to get to year 3 and nobody was going to living legend, right?
Probably not. Yeah, I mean, the first Starvo is the easiest one, because literally just like go back to Bravo. And mold them.
think that they knew Starvo was too good, and he was a boss. And he was like, let's see what it's like if we have one dominating guy. I think that was less a mistake and more like a fun experiment.
Because he's the star of the show.
He's the star of the show.
He comes in with the circus, and then everyone, it's like Chain and Prism and
I think it's
Briar
on purpose.
all go to the circus.
And I think it's cool. Like,
if
you're listening to this, James White, Starvo was cool. I'm sorry if you think it's a mistake. I know everyone hated it and everyone was mad.
It was,
and
I'm
not a
cool
competitive player, but I think it was cool that the logo guy of your game was just running amok and making everyone lose their shit, and everyone either had to play him or had to target him. That's funny and cool.
Yeah.
As flavor on a meta level, and I hope there's more stuff like that. Like, it obviously maybe not something that makes everybody mad, but I think in concept it's a cool idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Starvo isn't even. I don't know. Do you remember like what percentage of like at the Pro Tour in Jersey, like what percent of people were playing Starvo? Because I think it was the most played deck.
It was, oh yeah.
But I don't even know if it was like more than 50%, because people also played a lot of Chain and then also more Prism than people expected. A ton of people played Prism.
Okay, but what were you gonna say about why they don't release a hero, a replacement?
Oh, I was just remembering that. I think this is what I was gonna say. Is that we know the Professor is putting out a product with LSS.
Yes, we do.
Next year.
We didn't talk about that. Well, man, we're almost done.
We could go over. Fresh and Buds did a 4-hour, 20-minute episode.
I know, but we can't get in the habit of doing it this way. This is the thing. We could talk about this game for 6 hours.
Right, we could talk about.
Often do.
We should talk about the Professor stuff more next time. But my theory is that because didn't they say it's not a deck box?
It is a product.
It's a product, and the Professor has had like one pretty critical video about Flesh and Blood that he gave a bad grade.
This is a great theory.
Which was the classic battle set, and he was like, it's kind of overpriced. It's not, you don't really get many good cards. It's not great. So I feel like after that video, they talked to him and were like, would you want to design a new player set? Because you don't really play the game that much. We're kind of in the weeds. You are so, you have a channel that's all about Magic and stuff. What would somebody want to play? If somebody plays Magic, what's the perfect thing for them to pick up and play this game?
I mean, that's just such a James White move. You can like completely imagine him like just getting on the phone and be like, mate, I saw
Brian,
look I saw your video, and while it hurt, I think you put a lot of good criticisms there, and I want to learn, and what do you want to do?
Yeah, because that set has a new
How do
hero.
You fix it?
It has Quicksilver Dory, and I've heard people sort of say like it'd be cool if there was more stuff that was similar to Ira, because Ira is a really great hero for new players because it's so simple. And that it'd be a great way to do both, like make a dual deck classic battles type thing that's like two new heroes.
Wait. Your prediction is that they're gonna put Prism, a light illusionist in a beginner's.
It's not necessarily my prediction, but I'm just saying it'd be interesting if the two were related. Like there's some kind of introductory set, and then there's also maybe it's like an expansion or something. I don't know.
I think the classic battles is a good idea, and we got to keep the introductory stuff real simple. Actually, I think that should be a one and done. Like you make a classic, we don't need more. Like we don't need a ton of classic battles.
Yeah, what else are the classic battles?
I like the idea of having one or two, a better one that maybe like a Professor mandated A+ two products, Yeah. If you like gothy and sexy ladies, or you want monsters and cute, whatever, I don't know, whatever the fuck. Like
sure.
Flavor wise, if you and then you can pick up one, they can be $20. They can look nice, they can be in better packaging, whatever they're going to change. But I think separately, getting the heroes to players shouldn't be complicated.
You think even simpler than a deck set, just like
I think it should come in. Have you ever seen like the Magic packs that are like this big? Like they're just like a little stack. It's like a little thing you put on the counter, and it's just like a couple. It's like 10 packs.
Oh yeah,
like that. It should just look like that, and it's just like new light illusionist.
Buy the hero.
Buy for $5.
Give it away as like an armory promo. They do those sometimes. What if it's just like get the hero at an armory? Or you can buy it.
Sure. I mean, whatever inventive ways they want to do. I just think it should be easy.
Yeah.
Like, it should just be like, oh, you already have been playing Prism and you want to use all your cards? Well, here's a new specialization, a new weapon, a new hero. It's 3 cards. Or
Luminaris is gone.
Or it's 10 cards.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it's 10 cards.
Just jumpstart. Like, here's something you can play those cards again.
She's got a specialization, and then, so that's 3 cards, and then 2, and then a cycle of something.
Some commons.
It's like a play set of a red, blue, and yellow, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's 9, 12 cards, and it comes in a little pack.
I think that'd be good.
And then you just be able to like put it out there, and then people don't have to worry about it.
And because it could end up feeling like...
I mean, this is maybe like a huge, like, shipping and like manufacturing issue. Maybe that's what it is. But I just feel like in terms of what they're trying to do, if they already have a design, I don't see why they're waiting to fit it in a set, because then you have to not only wait until, because it won't ever fit in a draftable set.
Right.
They have lore plans.
Yeah, the draftable set has to have...
So you have to wait for a supplemental set.
Right. So it's going to be next summer?
Then, like, if something goes away, if something Living Legends, then you have to wait at least 6 months, at least, to get something. And then you might be like bumping out cards that they were hoping were going to be in that supplemental set and moving them to literally a year away. And I don't understand why you would do that. Yeah.
Maybe they don't have them fully fleshed out, like what the new hero will be. Because James White said something along the lines of like, he likes the idea of like letting the meta and the cards like rest a little while, like take a break from...
He said that to...
I don't remember where
Fluke?
He said it. It might have been to Fluke.
On
Yeah. I'm doing that thing people always do where they're like, James White said somewhere.
James White said it.
And then
we need a Bible. We need a wiki of like...
I know.
He's spoken.
So spoke.
So spoke to James White.
Yeah. Be useful.
Yeah, it'd be useful. We didn't talk about Worlds. Did you want to say anything about Worlds?
Oh, yeah. Worlds was a cool meta. Michael Hamilton is insane at Flesh and Blood. I don't know. I feel like everyone's already said all this.
Yeah, who cares? We don't know anything about Worlds. I mean, like, it was great. We watched it. We had a Flesh and Blood party.
Oh, yeah.
We had our friends that we got into the game, David and Alex, who will definitely be on the show.
Oh, yeah.
They're podcasters and comedians, and they're very funny people. So hopefully we'll have them on here to talk about their thoughts on the game and getting into it, because they're very new. But
learning fast, though.
They came over and they watched. We played games. It was great. It was honestly really cool. Like
Worlds was awesome. Man.
I felt like I was having a sleepover. Like I felt like I was having friends over for like a birthday party. You know, it was like 3 of us or 4 of us, and we were just like jamming games. You guys were over on the couch, and me and Alex were on the table. The championship was on. It was awesome, and the game really foments this really cool like in person like excuse to hang out with your friends who you don't normally hang out with, and I love it.
It's very cool.
Great. Worlds was awesome. I'm very happy for Michael Hamilton. Congratulations. He's an incredible player.
Yeah. You were saying on Twitter too that you think it's very fitting that it's like like a humble and like kind-hearted and
this
open
game that's so wholesome that just foments this community of people who just want to help each other and get people into the game. And you know, you don't want it to be too expensive. You want to give people your chaff and you know, like just throwing, you know, Yanji just like threw a guy a Command and Conquer for fun.
Yeah, I forgot about that. The guy hasn't even come to an armory since then.
It doesn't matter. It's you know, we're trying to plant seeds.
Spread the love, yeah.
That this game's Michael Jordan is like, oh, I don't know if I'm that good. I guess I won Worlds, you know. Things, you know, he's audibly blushing as like it's really cute, and I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
You know, no shade to anybody else who likes to, you know, do a little football dance in the end zone.
Sure. Yeah.
That's cool too. It's just it's very fitting that it's Michael.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to say anything else? You want to talk about any other topics?
I feel like we nailed some topics. Did we miss anything huge we should have mentioned?
Boots are back.
Oh yeah. They banned them and then they unbanned them.
My boots are back. And they clearly banned them for Worlds.
Yeah, they banned them because they were like, Icelander's broken, and the easiest way to have her not be broken at Worlds is ban boots. And then they were like, wait, she's
scared.
She's still really good. What, 104 people were playing Icelander and Blitz?
She was clearly the best.
She was the best.
And they, you know, Brendan Patrick is taking credit for the boots coming back.
Oh yeah, that
he was drunkenly complaining to.
Drunkenly begging. Please give them back.
Give me my boots back.
I need the boots.
Hey, maybe he did. Maybe it's Brendan Patrick's.
That'd be cool.
To thank. I will give you a kiss next time I see you.
But I actually really like. I think that's a good gesture and like a thing that it's there. They don't want to leave behind any fan of any hero. You know, a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's heroes that are polarizing. It's like personally, I don't mind that Prism's gone from CCE because I think Spectra and Luminaris are kind of annoying. But it's like, I get that people want to be playing Prism again. For me, I like playing into Kano. I think Kano's a really interesting, different puzzle to solve when playing the game. And it's a fun one to try to figure out. And he has a lot of weaknesses that people don't often exploit. And so I think it's great that people who love playing Kano can have a chance to play their Kano again, even if they take away the cards that make it too busted. And it's more fair for everyone now. They don't just want to like leave them by the wayside. They took away
Ether Wildfire and they gave me back the beginning. They gave us back the boots, and there's a ton of reasons that Emperor should have them. Icelander having them in Blitz is okay, I think.
We'll see.
We'll see about that. Yeah. But Kano getting them back, I think, is really cool, and I'm gonna play both of those heroes probably, or all three of them. I love Wizard.
Yeah.
So that's the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We got a lot of good feedback on the first one, and we're really sorry. We've had like kind of I went on tour.
We've had a pretty busy month.
We really were going to try and do a call, but it's like we wanted to do it video, and we had to set it up. We had to figure out how to set it up here, and so I think we're on a roll now. We'll got
keep doing them.
The setup is fixed. It's all good. I'm here. I'm definitely not going anywhere for a couple months. So every weekend from now on, right here, Banish Zone, we got your podcast. It will also be on Spotify. It is on pretty much everywhere except for iTunes, right?
We're going to get it. Well, Apple Podcasts puts it everywhere else. So we'll put it there. By the time this one's out, you should be able to just search it on your podcast app.
That's
find
right.
It and subscribe to it.
Listen wherever you'd like. We don't really care. Subscribe to this podcast.
We don't care.
Follow me at Banish Zone on Twitter. Follow Chris at Blue Ponder Run. If you just love hearing our opinions on shit, you can listen to our politics show. We have very far left politics that we will not be bringing too intensely to the show. But we're who we are. So, but it's called BP Lettuce. You can listen to us talk there. You can listen to me talk about movies on Generation Loss. Is there anything else we need to plug? Nah, whatever.
Watch the space.
You'll figure it out. Buy a box from me if you'd like to see me open boxes. It's one of my favorite things to do. Sorry I didn't stream the Dynasty opening. I just wanted to have fun. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.